So, in aftermath of what happened yesterday on that it was close, a little too close for comfort against a team like that, but at 23-20. But on the flip side, they're finding ways to win these games that they wouldn't have last year. Last year, if that same situation happened where they were down by that one score with, what was it, about 4 minutes left, I believe, because of that Jay Cutler run, I feel like they would have just folded over. But this year they actually fought, came back. Diggs clearly with his 40-yard catch and run score. So, and Diggs he's been nice. So I'm really hoping that this is not like a 1 year or couple game streak he's having. I'm hoping he's like a real player for this. So maybe we have him down the stretch. And with that, and the defense for the most part last week, well, I say last week, but yesterday, was great in the first half, I think. The first half, it was really good. The second half, it just kind of, it fell down a little bit. But the offense came through when it mattered the most, which is good because Teddy managed to do it. So on the bright side, that does answer a few questions of Teddy Bridgewater because he has had very lackluster numbers this year. He's not looking how everyone expected him to, how all these different things coming in and out. So the fact that they're winning games in these ugly fashions where they may rely on Bridgewater to win a couple games here and there, he's showing that he can do it, which is good. Like, I know that one throw to Charles Johnson, he had no business throwing that. I thought, right when that came out of his hand, I was like, I was thinking 4-3 right when he threw that, but Charles Johnson with his amazing catch ended up coming up that. So, amazing trust in Charles Johnson. So, but they do have things to fix. I think the O-line is still an issue. They did run the ball better. I think they did block better, but I still think O-line is still the major issue because if you look at this team, all the pieces are in place. Bridgewater needs to get better at that deep ball still in order to utilize Mike Wallace to his full potential. I think he missed him twice when he was wide open both times. So that could have been an easy 2 scores if he can hit that. So I still think that's the weak part of his game. He tried to force it to Diggs later, which that's a new thing for Teddy. Like he hasn't always been a forcer. Now he's forcing it to Diggs. But of course, with Diggs and his amazing playmaking ability, maybe that's why when he feels like he needs a play, he's going to go right to Diggs. So maybe that's it. I don't know, but maybe. But sorry. So what they need to do now is keep this momentum going. Because you look at this, we have St. Louis next week with that beast in the back of Todd Gurley. So hopefully we get Sharif Floyd back next week. I think he's been out the last 2 weeks. Maybe. Yeah, I think it was only 2 weeks. I don't think it was the last 3 weeks. So Sharif Floyd's going to be crucial to that. And in the middle of that defense to stop this Ram team. Because if you stop Gurley, I think you win the game. That's how that works. So, because I know their defense is really good, but with how Diggs is playing, they're going to be forced to either play Diggs or play Peterson. So it's kind of pick your poison type of thing. Maybe. So that really depends. Hopefully Teddy can take advantage of it. They decide to play Peterson. You can just do that thing with the play action passes that they did back in Detroit. So the other thing that gives them an upper hand on that is it's in Minnesota thing. And St. Louis, as of late, hasn't been too great on the road. So I'm willing to take a chance with this one. It's a winnable game. I'm not going to chalk it up to them due to how they've been winning games. They're very ugly games, but good teams find ways to win when they're not playing their best, which they have been doing. I know people probably think this is one of the most unimpressive 5-2 teams in the history of this. I know people are going to say things like that, but come December when you need to run the ball, this team is gonna hurt you. So, because they play this great defense, usually. They usually play pretty good defense, and then they have AP in the back. So, the team is built for December and January, not so much this fantasy stat type of thing. It's not an offense where you're going to see people go for like 1,800 yards receiving, with 15 touchdowns and all these other things. It's not a flashy thing this year. If Teddy was more developed, maybe. Could be that. So, but as of right now, this team is more built towards January and December. Hopefully we can pull out the close games in the early thing to get to there. And so far they have been pulling out most of the close games here. I mean, the only one they didn't was in Denver. So, and they lost that one 23-20. So, I'll take that loss as they destroyed Green Bay last night. No comment on that. That was weird. So I expected Rodgers to be a little bit better. But anyway, back to this. So, but the next coming weeks, because even if they met, I think they need to go 7-2. It's 6-3 at worst. They can only lose one out of the next two. That's all they're allowed to do. Because once you look at the next four after these two, because next week you have Gurley and the Rams coming to Minnesota, then you go out to Oakland. So, and then coming back after that, they go back to Minnesota and they're facing Green Bay. So, that's good, I think, because if we can go 7-2, face Green Bay, and hopefully pull off this upset, we're in legitimate contention for this division. And it's been so long since we've been able to say that. So, I know back in 2012, we did make the playoffs, but we weren't in contention for first in the division. So if we can somehow go 7-2 and knock off these Packers a little bit, then we're setting ourselves on pace. And I think, but the fact I'm not expecting to go that. I'm not expecting to go 8-2. I'm just hoping we can go 7-2 first. Because 7-2 will bring us into that stretch of Green Bay, Atlanta, Seattle, and then that short week on Thursday night to Arizona. That stretch is difficult, and it will be hard there. So that's when we're going to find out what this team really is, as they haven't really faced the best competition so far this year. So that being said, they need to sort some things out before that comes. So they need to use what they have. They need to still defend that screen game like they did in Chicago very well. And they need Sharif Floyd back. This is the perfect time to get Sharif Floyd back. I know not getting John Sullivan is probably the worst thing that's happened this year so far to them, by knowing he's probably not coming back. So that hurts our O-line a tremendous amount. But I still think the O-line is solid enough. I'm not a fan of Mike Harris, but that is what it is. And he probably won't be starting next year, I'd imagine. But this team has a legitimate shot if they can go 7-2. They're built for the last month or two of the season. This is not a team that's going to throw the ball 50 times a game and put up all these stat numbers like you saw yesterday in that Giant and New Orleans game. That was insane. So it's a very different type of team. It's I know last year you saw them throw a lot more because, well, you had Asiata and Jerick McKinnon running the ball. I personally, I like Jerick McKinnon more than Asiata. I think they need to get him involved more. I think they need to get McKinnon involved a little bit more. I understand Asiata's the blocking back, but I also don't know why we hand him the ball when you have Jerick McKinnon and Adrian Peterson. I don't feel like he can get the ball on third down, so they know it's just going to be him blocking. He's never going to come out of the backfield. But I don't understand why you would ever give it to him on third and short. I don't know what Norv Turner's thing is with him. But that's a different rant for a different time. Anyway, trade deadline. Carrying on with this, I know a lot of people are going to refer to Patterson in terms of this trade deadline. I don't think there will be any takers on Cordero Patterson in the middle of the year. Actually, I do think there might be one, but we play him in 2 weeks, and that's the Oakland Raiders. And I have an explanation for the Oakland Raiders. Bill Musgrave, he's there. You know, the guy that made him actually look extremely good his rookie year? He's down in Oakland. So maybe if... I don't think they'll trade him there because they do play him in 2 weeks. So I think after the season's over, you could potentially trade Cordero Patterson to the Oakland Raiders for something. I don't know what, but anything at this point I think Minnesota will take. And one name I will throw out there is Shaun Hill. Maybe Shaun Hill is traded. I know that's like kind of the wild card here, but with all the quarterback needy teams, with the Jets quarterback going down, Houston has nothing. You may throw out Tennessee in there because I don't know if they're liking Mettenberger down there, but no, teams like that, they may be intrigued by Shaun Hill. So I don't know what you can get for Shaun Hill, but I'm just saying, like, maybe you can get away with that. So, I necessarily wouldn't be okay with getting rid of Shaun Hill because if Teddy goes down, then you're putting in an undrafted rookie in Taylor Heineke. So, I'm not in favor of trading away Shaun Hill unless you can get someone to overpay for Shaun Hill. Then I'm okay with it. But if you're just gonna dump a ball for like a 6th or 7th rounder, I'm not okay with that. So I think he plays a valuable role to Teddy. So that's a no-go. That's a no-go. But maybe. It wouldn't surprise me if it were to happen, but I'm not necessarily in favor of it, if that makes sense. Anyway, that is all I got for this. I bid you farewell.